What if the most dangerous weapon ever created wasn't just built with science, but with the entire precious metal reserve of the United States? In 1942, the Manhattan Project hit a wall. They needed miles of electromagnetic coils to enrich uranium, but the world was at war, and copper was as scarce as gold. So the US Army did something that sounds like a movie plot. They walked into the US Treasury and asked for 14,000 tons of solid silver. But why was this secret kept for decades? And how did they manage to return every single ounce without the public ever knowing? This is the story of the $300 million loan that built the bomb. Welcome to History's Echo. We explore the massive financial and technological machinery that moves the world behind the scenes. We follow the gold, the silver, and the classified blueprints of the elite. If you're here for the untold truth of power, you're in the right place. The year was 1942. The United States had just entered World War II, and the race to build the atomic bomb was on. At a secret site in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, scientists were building calutrons, massive machines designed to separate isotopes of uranium. These machines required enormous amounts of electricity and, more importantly, miles and miles of conductive wire for their electromagnets. Typically, these coils would be made of copper. However, copper was a critical war material used for shell casings and communications wire. The Manhattan Project was told they couldn't have any. General Leslie Groves, the military head of the project, knew they needed a better conductor. Silver is the best conductor of electricity known to man, even better than copper. He knew the US Treasury was sitting on a mountain of silver bars in their vaults. In a top-secret meeting with the Undersecretary of the Treasury, the project's scientists requested 15,000 tons of silver. The official's response was legendary. "Young man, in the Treasury, we do not talk of silver in tons. Our unit is the troy ounce." Nevertheless, the loan was approved. Under extreme secrecy, 14,000 tons of silver, worth over $300 million in 1942 and billions today, were moved to secret processing plants. The bars were melted down and extruded into silver wire. The security was unlike anything the world had ever seen. Every scrap of silver dust was swept up and accounted for. The workers in the factories were told they were working with a special alloy for the war effort. Most never knew they were touching pure treasure. For the duration of the war, the silver lived inside the magnetic coils of the calutrons. It was the silver blood of the atomic age. Without this precious metal, with the explosion, the fuel for the Hiroshima after the
bomb
war, the military spent years
enriched in
dismantling
time.
the machines. They had to return every ounce of silver to the Treasury to avoid a national financial scandal. They even burned the wooden floorboards of the factories and sifted through the ashes to recover minute particles of silver that had rubbed off during installation. By 1970, the final report was issued. Virtually every ounce had been returned. This massive logistics operation remains the largest commodity loan in human history. It proves that when the survival of a nation is at stake, the boundaries between the Treasury and the battlefield vanish. The calutrons of Oak Ridge were a technological marvel, but they were also a temporary vault for the nation's wealth, a secret that literally powered the end of the war. The silver returned to the vaults, but the world had changed forever. It's a reminder that money and power are often the same thing in the dark of a crisis. This is History's Echo. If you want to dive deeper into the financial architecture of history, hit the subscribe button and join our community. Comment below, what's the most valuable thing you think the government is hiding today? We'll see you in the next shadow.